Hi, my name is John Cole, our Chief Naturalist for the Geauga Park District. Now, in these web videos, we tend to highlight spectacles that happen out in nature in our parks throughout the seasons. Well, this year, my friends, something amazing is about to happen this spring. I'm talking about a spectacle of gigantic proportions. And this spectacle happens only once every 17 years. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? Do you have a guess as to what this might be? If you guessed the emergence of the 17-year cicada, you are right, and it is going to be amazing. So around here, we also have annual cicadas. These are these guys right here in this container. These are the cicadas that we hear every summer, buzzing up in the trees, usually mid to late summer. We're not really talking about these ones today. We're talking about the 17-year cicadas, which belong to the group of periodical cicadas. There can be 13-year and 17-year cicadas. Around here in Ohio, we just get the 17-year cicadas, and they emerge, they have a life cycle of 17 years. They emerge in the spring, which means right about now. We're talking late May, early June. These things will emerge, and they will emerge by the millions from the ground. And it'll take soil temperature of 64 degrees. I have a soil thermometer here. When the soil thermometer reaches 64 degrees on a few consecutive nights in spring, that's when this spectacle is going to happen. Game on for the cicadas. Periodical cicadas occur only in eastern North America. That's right, folks. Nowhere else in the world can you see this phenomenon happen. Now, throughout eastern North America, there are different groups or broods that occur each year. This year, brood 5 is going to come out in the late spring. And as you can see, eastern Ohio, which includes Geauga County, is part of that group. Also, West Virginia, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and parts of Maryland will also have this brood 5 emergence. Now, it turns out that the earliest written record of this 17-year cicada emergence goes back to the days of the Mayflower Pilgrims. Now, there's a gentleman, his name was Governor William Bradford. I have an actual journal entry that he wrote about this occurrence. It's pretty cool. I'll read it for you. And the spring before is, you know what? I can do better than this. Give me a second. And the spring before, especially all the month of May, there was such a quantity of great sorts of flies, like for bigness to wasps or bumblebees, which came out of the holes in the ground and replenished all the woods, and made such a constant yelling noise as made all the woods ring of them, and ready to death the heavens. They have not by the English been heard or seen before or since. William Bradford of the Plymouth Plantation, 1633. So, when these early settlers saw these insects emerging out of the ground by the millions, they had never seen anything like that before over in Europe. And so their minds went right to the Old Testament, to the book of Exodus, which mentions the swarms of locusts. So therefore, they called these cicadas locusts, when in reality, they're not locusts at all. They're cicadas. Still today, people call them locusts sometimes, but now you know, they're really cicadas. So, whether you're an annual cicada or a periodical 17-year cicada, you go through a very similar life cycle. It really just depends on how long that life cycle takes. So what the female will do is she'll lay her eggs in the stem of plants, young trees, sometimes at the edge of woods, shrubs, things like that, always deciduous trees. And actually, I have a stem that was collected here from Big Creek Park back in '99. You can see these little marks on the twig. Those are where the female drilled into the twig to lay her eggs. Now, you might think, does this kill the trees? Does this damage the trees? No, it does not kill the trees. The female, she doesn't want to kill the tree, which is going to give her young life. So if you're worried about it, you can cover young trees in your yard with cheesecloth, netting, anything like that, or delay planting until the fall. But in reality, it's only going to cause a little bit of cosmetic damage, not going to kill your trees. So after several weeks, the young will hatch out of the eggs. And in this little glass vial right here, there's a tiny little nymph in there. Size of a poppy seed. These things are really, really tiny. And towards the end of the summer, these nymphs will hatch out of their eggs, as I said, and then they will skydive from the twigs down to the earth. Come with me. All the way down to the ground. When they hit the ground, they're going to burrow down into the ground. If they are an annual cicada, they're going to spend about 2 years underneath the ground sipping the sap from tree roots. If they're a 17-year cicada, they're going to spend 17 years sipping the sap from the tree roots underneath the ground. 17 years. That's the largest insect life cycle in all the world. That's amazing. Really, really cool. So after 17 tastes of sap, the cicadas will start emerging up out of the ground, but it takes a certain soil temperature. Do you remember what it is? 64 degrees, you are right. On a few consecutive nights, they will start to emerge in the late spring. And they will emerge by the millions. Sometimes I've heard millions in 1 acre. It's amazing. So what they'll do is they'll crawl up the bark of trees, crawl up the trees, tall grasses, and then their skin will split open and the adult will emerge out. You can see a picture on the screen right here of an adult emerging from an exoskeleton. Now, back in '99 when I worked at an outdoor education center called Nature's Classroom at Camp Muskingum, there's a plug for you, Camp Muskingum, I was a young naturalist, and this happened while I was there at camp. And if you look in this jar right here, you can see just tons of these cicada exoskeletons that I gathered just to show you today on this web video. Pretty cool, huh? So it's really an amazing spectacle. So once the adults emerge out of those exoskeletons, they're very vulnerable at that time. Their wings have to dry out. Once they dry out, their main job in life is reproduction. They don't really feed much anymore. What the males will do is start singing. The sound that the males make is an amazingly loud, ear-piercing sound. When a group of males together make that sound, it can be a wall of sound that some scientists say is like one of the loudest sounds in all of nature. Now have a listen to a male singing right here. Now, the male is not making that sound with his vocal cords like I would be. He's actually making that sound with tiny little organs within his body called tymbals. And those tymbals vibrate really fast together like so. They have a hollow abdomen which amplifies the sound and makes a really, really loud sound, like I said. Now the females, they don't sing at all, but they kind of listen to the males. Oh, I like the way that guy's singing. And what she does is she will tap her wings together, like so, almost like the snapping of a human finger. It really sounds a lot like that. She's like saying, hey, I like your song, guy. Come on over. So if she's interested, the guy's interested, they will breed, they'll lay eggs, and then 6 weeks later, they die. But again, that life cycle continues. What good are cicadas? Well, first off, think of this, my friends. This is the only place in all the world that this is happening this year. Brood 5. Yes. So it's a natural spectacle. It's something that you can get out and enjoy with your families. You don't have to worry about them biting you or stinging you. You can pick them up. They're really cool to experience. So that's one thing. But from a nature perspective, I guess you could say, they are also a beneficial food source for animals. Frogs, fish, turtles, mammals, you name it, birds, all sorts of things, turkeys, they will feast on these things, and therefore they help those animal populations. When they're under the ground as nymphs, many underground animals will eat them as well. And one other benefit is when they're burrowing through the soil, they help to aerate the soil, which provides healthy soil for a healthy forest community. So I hope that you and your families get out and experience this amazing spectacle that's about to happen. Remember, late May, early June, it's going to happen. I'm so excited. Hey, if you want to get your name on a call list, we call it the Cicada Brood 5 call list, we will call you up. when the conditions are right, and we will go out and experience this spectacle together here at Big Creek Park. If you want more information about that, check out our program listings on our website for more information. And if you look at the video description here, you can find a link to a really cool video which talks about the whole 17-year cicada emergence. It's really phenomenal, and I hope that you don't miss it. Hey, and if you come to the programs, or if you come to one of our, like our visitor center here at the Meyer Center or Westwoods, you can get yourself a Cicada Brood 5 2016 sticker for your collection. One time only, folks. So little time, yet so many amazing things left to be discovered. We'll see you next time.